Martin takes Eva's side, but Kat holds her own. Naomi goes and apologizes to the Hamiltons. And Dani and Andre have their first conflict amongst honeymoon bliss. What's good, y'all? This is Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Beyond the Gates video. And in this one, I'm breaking down season 1, episode number 176. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Beyond the Gates content and conversations. And let's go ahead and get into it. I already know that some of y'all are going to still be struggling with my take. However, I've organized my thoughts a little bit better, so I'm not just ranting this episode. Let's go ahead and get into it, right? The Kat versus Eva and Martin of it all. Multiple things can be true at once, y'all. And while it may have been hard to hear Kat wishing Eva was never born to her face, I'm still not going to condemn her for that statement because it's truthful to her current feelings. And those feelings are a direct response to the consistent conflict, critique, and various forms of aggression Kat has been experiencing. In my last breakdown, I admitted to being a person who has told one another person at some point they mama should have swallowed them. Which is meant to be hurtful in nature. So I would be a hypocrite now to condemn Kat all in the name of looking like a nicer person than you actually are, just so that you can kind of like say that. And I really wish more people in the audience, specifically those who are caping so hard for Eva, could be honest and self-aware about the persons that they are, because they asses are not perfect either. Yes, what Kat said was mean. I have never said that it wasn't mean. And I've said that I've had the similar sentiments and communicated such before. And the thing that I will say about that is that it's never been a time when I feel like I have said those things or felt those things unprovoked. And I don't think that Kat is in the position of saying these things unprovoked, which the context actually matters. Kat didn't just walk up to her and say, "I wish your ass was never born." She overheard both Martin and Eva commiserating about her. Yes, you too, Martin, because you was talking big cash about your sister to your half sister that you know that she don't even really like that. And this is the result of that. I think it's very unrealistic to expect Kat to not have any type of reactions to this type of stuff as it is happening, especially when she has an underlying feeling of feeling pushed out of her life and seemingly like Eva's on a mission to replace her. And when Martin comes back for his scarf and overhears Kat going off, now he wants to verbally punish Kat and defend Eva. And that just builds on my problem with Martin. Now, I appreciate him not stopping the conversation with Eva after Kat left, following up on the whole like she slept with Kat's boyfriend reveal, but he is so committed to his natural state of politician and diplomat that it is quite annoying. I don't think that Kat was wrong for that portion of the talk before she left, where she said that his motivation could be cultivated by his relationship with his constituents and his colleagues, and it matters how it actually comes across. So maybe he is also being accepting of Eva specifically because it would look crazy for him to not. Now, I don't think that that's the driving reason, but I don't think that Kat was wrong for bringing it up. And I think also this is a great point to highlight in this moment, because when she says that, I think Martin is offended, not because it couldn't be true, but because it could be true. Because that's who you actually have been, Martin. Like, let's not act like you are not a recovering narcissist, a recovering manipulator. You have been lying by omission. You have been stringing Smitty ass along, being an unequally yoked partner this entire time, doing whatever when it comes to voting and maintaining your political position and or career. Let's not act like you wouldn't utilize a personal endeavor to advance yourself, or at least how you were presented to your damn constituents, especially if that could directly tie to votes. But again, that is a thing that I think most people have a problem with when it comes to Kat, is because she be honest. She be speaking the truth and she'll tell you exactly how she feels. And a lot of people struggle with that. Now, Martin claims that Kat is so spoiled and coddled, but weren't you the same one who had a grandfather and a father cover up for a murder that you committed, while lying to your mother about it and convincing you to lie to your husband about it? Hell, in that circumstance alone, you were coddled so much that you were able to experience this traumatic privilege of not even remembering the details of the incidents, because the men that loved you stepped in and cleaned up the mess for you, making sure not a hair on your head was out of place and not an opportunity of advancement or ambitions were lost. The definition of coddle, y'all, for all of those in the back who are a little bit confused, is to treat in an indulgent or overprotective way. Ted reconstructed the face of the slain man's brother to help the incident go away. If that's not overprotective in reference to a response, I don't know what is. Up until most recently within his marriage, the status quo had been for him to lie, evade, omit in order to get his husband to comply and continue to sacrifice for his career advancement and his wishes. Everywhere Martin turned until his murderous little secret got out, he was praised, covered for, and deeply considered. But Kat is the coddled one. That's what y'all want me to believe. That's why I'm calling BS on his and everybody else's poor little spoiled rich girl narrative that they are trying to ascribe to Kat. Is she financially well off? Yes, but so is Martin, with them both coming from the same family and from the same damn means. Does she carry herself in a bougie manner? Yes, as does Martin. They were literally raised like this. And nobody gets to now weaponize the resources, the privileges, and the advantages that y'all all have received in order to tag Kat with a negative critique above everybody else because she hates what her half sister represents and what her half sister has done to her family. That literally makes no sense. So every single thing that Martin is saying about Kat, you actually exhibit as well, but it's only wrong when it's Kat or when she does it. Okay. As it stands, Martin has been coddled. Hell, Eva is currently being coddled, and Martin indirectly speaks to this without even knowing it. He's like, she didn't have the same things that we had. She didn't have the money. She didn't have a dad. She didn't have a mom like ours. She didn't have certain things that we actually experienced, Kat, and that is all true. But that does not make those things a valid excuse for her to burst into Kat and Chelsea's studio and confront her. It doesn't make an excuse for her to hide evidence of attempted murders, multiple attempted murders. We're using her underprivilegedness, her lunatic ass mama as excuses for why we need to handle Eva with kid gloves, why Eva doesn't need to be accountable to sleeping with her half sister's boyfriend, why Eva don't need to be held accountable for calling Kat a rich bitch in her own damn home. But Kat is the one who's coddled when nobody spares a moment to tell Kat that she wrong, tell Kat that she needs to go and make nice with Eva. Even though many of y'all are forgetting she already tried that. The time that she went to go try to make peace, extend the olive branch, she found her boyfriend in the girl's bed. Okay. All of the things that that Eva did not have, that Eva did not experience, that Eva may have been robbed from because of how she was born into this world, and the mother who was charged with shepherding her through this world does not make it right for her to conspire with said mama to take everything that Kat has because it was supposed to be Eva's to begin with. All of which was a very real sentiment that Eva has conveyed, whether people see it or not. The issue for me is how people are navigating Eva and basically allowing her to sidestep accountability, allowing her to not suffer the consequences of her action and not suffer from her affiliations when Kat doesn't get that same level of grace and consideration. Because Eva's mama is crazy ass Leslie, and because Eva's mama lied to her about Ted, that means that she gets to be her mother's accomplice. She gets to commiserate with her mama. She gets to talk big cash with her mama. She gets to create plans with her mama to destroy and go after the Dupree Richardsons in many cases. But as long as when y'all see her around Fairmont Crest and she's smiling and playing nice, and as long as when y'all hear about her at the country club, none of the untoward things that she's doing behind the scenes actually come out, y'all have no problem with acting like she is the best thing in the world, and I hate it. But don't get me wrong, I get the desire to not alienate her, to not push her away, because that's sometimes what can happen when you hold somebody accountable for their misdeeds or their mistakes, and they're not trying to do that because of the past and because of her upbringing and not having all the things that she didn't have. But let me really break this down to y'all, because Martin calling Eva a victim while Kat is calling her accomplice is ultimately the biggest issue with how everyone is handling her, because the truth is she's both. She's the victim of a mother who is incapable of mothering her appropriately and effectively. Instead of unconditional love, support, education, and Leslie's best, Eva got manipulation, conspiracy, transactional love, and unrealistic expectations. She was lied to her entire life about who her father was and what he thought of her. The narrative that she was programmed with detailed an arch nemesis family that were the reason she couldn't have her dad, with a hyper focus on a daughter who was taking the spot that Eva rightfully deserved. And this is where she also becomes the accomplice, because she believed all of it and acted accordingly. Even when immediately presented with counterpoints and information about these villains in her story told to her by her mom, and seeing for herself that they don't really give villain, when she met them, she did not push back. She did not start to disassociate or separate herself from her mother and her mother's goofy plan, or at least she did not do it fast enough. And after her initial introduction, she was allowed to work with and live amongst these people, getting to know them in deep ways and actually seeing all of the inaccuracies of her mother's story that she was told. And she never once took the opportunity to talk to Ted or anyone else about said discrepancies. She conceded to going along with and trying but failing to manage her mother while knowing she was wrong, and inflated much of the narrative. Everything Leslie wanted to do, she was able to do through Eva, and the access, information, and opportunities Eva cultivated by getting close to and ultimately crushing Ted's family. And in my book, that makes you an accomplice. But for all of y'all who need this definition, accomplice is a person who helps another commit a crime. And this was solidified, y'all, when she decided to hide the evidence tying Leslie to the attempted murder of Laura. She never once thought about going to the police, or the bare minimum going to her father, her dad. So with all of that into consideration, let's talk about a couple of things that Kat knows, because so many people are struggling to understand why Kat has so much animosity for this girl. I'm going to give y'all 4 points. Kat knows that Eva became Nicole's assistant for nefarious reasons, and this was proven right at the anniversary party bombshell. She also knows that Eva hid evidence tying Leslie to Laura's attempted murder because Kat found it in Eva's hotel room under her bed. She also knows that Eva wanted Tomas romantically by the vibe she experienced seeing them with each other, but that was ultimately confirmed when she finds out that Tomas slept with Eva. Those 4 things alone are not even all of it, but those 4 things alone to me makes for great enemies, makes for a great reasoning behind, I will never like this hoe, I will never speak to this hoe could never see me. But we want to all play up twos as if Eva has done absolutely nothing wrong. Okay. And the thing that I think that too many people are also discounting when it comes to Kat is her intuition and the vibes. These vibes that she has been getting from Eva from the moment that she arrived have been telling her all that she needs to know. And as a person who listens to their damn intuition, we need to put a little bit more respect on those. So even of all the things that Kat doesn't know, I've listed the very valid points of the things that she does. I think now it could be very clear. There should be no argument as to why Kat has the animosity that she does towards Eva, and how she has actually been provoked to react in the ways that she has reacted. But when you even think about the aura and the vibe, right? And what Eva is carrying, and the rhetoric that she has with her mother, gassing her up and putting that battery in her back, she has been normalized to believe that Kat has everything that she was supposed to have. And the reason why she doesn't have it is because Kat has it. And maybe she doesn't go around and spout that specifically every single time she sees Kat, right? But when she interacts with Kat, she interacts with Kat with that in her mind. And now everybody is looking at Kat like Kat is crazy for saying, this girl was trying to take my life. You all are trying to replace me with her. Meanwhile, that is what Eva has been programmed with since we known her. Do I got to run the montage? Let me just go ahead and run the montage.
You're in a situation that makes you uncomfortable.
What makes me uncomfortable is thinking about what you went through all those years ago. And it's time for you to have it. So don't worry about me. I'm all in.
Dad made it quite clear that he wanted nothing to do with us.
From the very beginning. Who the hell are you?
Ted Richardson didn't give a damn about whether we lived or died, and he still doesn't.
Your mother said the vibe was more of a relaxed work environment. Is that why you thought it was okay to go snooping through her desk? But now that I'm working for Nicole, I'll be on the inside.
That is my baby.
And that girl is sus. You're gonna regret ever bringing her into our lives. I hope her Louboutins are comfortable because she's about to fall hard off that pedestal. Oh, sorry, Dr. Richardson. I met him. I met my father. Oh. This is getting to be a habit. Now how someone as innocent as you were could have fallen for him. That man thinks he's God's gift to black women everywhere. I didn't come looking for this job. It got dropped in my lap by some random curveball.
You're saying Laura getting slammed by that biker is your lucky day?
Congressman Martin.
I thought you were being bitter when you called Kat a spoiled princess. But now that I've seen her for myself, she's actually... I've got no beef with you, but you seem to be gunning for me. Maybe you should ask yourself why.
Oh, I know exactly.
And in order for your plan to work, I need to seem like the perfect assistant. So I'm gonna go and do what Nicole asks. When I figure out why, I'll expose you for the phony you are. Who are you, Eva Thomas?
Our rules, not his. We'll lay low for now, let Ted think he's won.
You want to set me up with a job at the country club as a hairstylist.
Half your blood is the same as that cat, brat.
I don't want to do this, not here, not in front of all these people. I've never seen this much money in real life.
And it's just the beginning.
Look, I get it.
You were right. Okay, I don't belong in the Dupree world. I don't know how to dress. I don't know how to act. Look, I miss us.
Isn't this enough?
Eva, it's not just about the money, honey. It's about blowing up his perfect little family.
I realized that you were just telling me things just to manipulate me.
Girl, stop.
Tell my mother this woman lives with Eva and recommended her to you for Laura's job. I'm not saying we have to handle this today, but for real, are we ever going to work through our issues? I don't have any issues. I just need you to stay out of my sight. Right? Then stop her. Tell everybody she's lying.
Oh, kitty cat. Oh, honey, you weren't even born yet.
Someone's in a bad mood.
Can you blame me? I just had a run-in with the homewrecker helper.
Won a gold star for trying to derail your master plan at the last minute?
As I said, this has been a reverberating affirmation for the most part that has been programmed into Eva's mind by her mother, and everybody is trying, not everybody, too many of y'all are trying to downplay it. Y'all are trying to gaslight Kat and ultimately trying to gaslight me as if this has not been the case. But at the end of the day, Eva has not been stopped from assimilating into the Richardson family because of Kat, and because Kat don't like her, and because Kat is creating too much tension. Eva is not actually able to fully assimilate into the family because y'all refuse to hold her accountable, and she can't actually move through these things if you're allowing herself to stop her own growth. Accepting all of her excuses, accepting her not taking accountability. And you have to have accountability when you are navigating relationships. There is no moving forward. There is no getting over it when people can't atone for how they did you. Period. So she gonna be stuck here, maybe still battling with Kat or not, but she's still going to be stuck here because she not only has to be accountable to Kat, but she should be more accountable to Ted. She ruined his marriage. She needs to be more accountable to Nicole. She ruined her marriage. She needs to be more accountable to Martin. And y'all just trying to give her a pass in order to hopefully get over it is not going to save that relationship and or y'all's family. Holding people accountable is what actually pushes growth and creates deeper connection. Being able to truly navigate conflict, that is what works. Not turning the other cheek and just acting like the thing didn't happen and the thing didn't hurt. That's not how any of this works. And I say this understanding that all of the family should be held accountable for their actions, not just some of them, not just the ones that were here before, not just the ones that are bold enough, brave enough, and authentic enough, like Kat, to be who they are in front of everybody. And y'all, that's the one thing. Yes, I enjoy the Kat character, but the one thing is that I will always stick up for honest characters. It's the thing that really had me gravitate to Dani immediately, because while she was doing all these erratic emotional things, all of that was driven by her truth. And I respect people who move with their truth and are not hiding behind masks. They're not hiding behind fallacies and perceptions and overly curated ass narratives, trying to convince people that they are one way when they're actually another. And I think that Kat is this way. She tries to move with decorum that she was raised with. She tries to move with poise and polish, but also she is deeply emotionally wounded by her father's marital indiscretion and then the illegitimate child that came from it, and that resultant actions that were taken by said child and child's mother, and how she moves with that. Kat is constantly in conflict with how she wants to be, how she was raised to be, but also being truly herself. And that's what y'all seeing pop up. When the mean girl pop out and she say some things that you don't necessarily like her saying, that's her being her truthful, most authentic self. And I will respect that before I respect the whole line to everybody's face, playing like she's somebody that she's not. She's not behind Ted's back acting like she likes Eva or cussing Eva out, and then in front of Ted's face acting like, oh, everything is all good. She is showing everybody that she don't like Eva. She is showing everybody that she don't respect Eva. She is showing everybody, this is where I stand on it. But Eva cannot say the same thing because she's pussyfooting around and manipulative and not being held accountable. Eva is not an honest person. These episodes continue to show that Eva shows Martin a different version of herself, shows Ted a different version of herself, shows Nicole a different version of herself, then shows Kat a completely different version from everybody. But it's Kat who's the one who's the problem. She's the one that everybody got issue with, even though you know exactly what you're getting when it comes to Kat. Everybody knows where they stand. And I think a good example of this is when they're in the conversation and Eva is sitting across from Kat and Martin is sitting next to her and she barely says anything, which pisses me off because you had all the words, all the language for Kat when you barged into her studio and berated her in front of her boyfriend and her best friend / best cousin. You had everything to say then. She was 16 types of spoiled rich bitches. But when it's Martin that you're in front of, that you're trying to sell this idea of the poorest me, long lost sister who didn't have a mother like y'all did, I'm just trying to get along. Now it's, I'm going to stay quiet. Now I have no explicitives to throw her way. Now it's because I want Martin to see me in a certain light and continue to cape for me, even though oftentimes I have been the aggressive one towards Kat. And most of the times when it comes to Kat, people are just seeing her response, her reaction to me. But that works in my favor, so I'm going to go ahead and lean into it. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Because y'all going crazy. Some of y'all are going crazy in the comments and y'all caping for Eva. And I get it. Y'all team Eva. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But y'all coming with no damn receipts. You coming with no damn scenes to speak to. No specific dialogue to speak to. The most that I'm seeing is Kat is so mean and how could she say that? That's all you got? I've just broken that down and given you so much context as to how people are valid in their responses, especially when you met them with disrespect. How could we expect anybody to respond anything but disrespectfully to us when we have been disrespectful to them? I'm just saying, because one thing I'm going to do is, yes, tell y'all how I feel, but I'm also going to try my best to articulate and walk you through how I arrived at that thought, how I arrived at that feeling. So it should be no confusion after this breakdown. And I'm still disappointed in Martin in this episode, but I was a little bit less disappointed in him than I was in the previous one because he stayed to have the conversation with Eva, like I mentioned before, about her sleeping with Tomas. And that is the beginning of what everybody should be doing. Everybody should be having these tough conversations. Everybody should still be holding her feet to the fire about poor decisions that she made. The same way that people are doing with Kat. And speaking of which, come on, Chelsea, come through as the voice of reason. And I want to highlight her specifically for this episode because I think that she did an exemplary job. This is what I've been calling for the entire time. What I really appreciate about Chelsea in this episode is her being such a good voice of reasoning, but also not gaslighting Kat. while also creating space for Kat to feel how she feels. Was what Kat said mean? Yes. But I can't personally go and say, oh my gosh, she is so wrong for doing it, because it happens, especially when you have been provoked. And I think Chelsea does a great job of still allowing herself to be honest and self-aware as a person, and knowing how this feels, and knowing like probably that she has done it before. Like, I think about Chelsea, and she is the social media girl and has all of these people, you know, reaching out to her on a daily basis, has all of her followers, whatever. I can only imagine just knowing what I go through. I have been told some of the most despicable, deplorable things. And to those people, sometimes I have responded in equally despicable ass ways. And I feel like Chelsea is the great representation and a wonderful voice of reason in this regard, because while she can say that was mean or that was a little bit uncalled for, and that's what she's choosing to do, she's also doing it from a place of, but it's also relatable. And what should this tell you about this? Because ultimately, which I think a lot of people are probably missing, that Kat is actually trying to process this because she's trying to figure out if she wants to be the person that she is currently, or if she wants to make a pivot, which is growth and continue evolution. Also, some stuff that Eva is not actually doing because she's too busy running from her decision. She's too busy running from the things that she said and running from the accountability tied to her actions and her words and everything. Meanwhile, Kat, every time she turns around, she has to reckon with the things that she said and the things that she's done. And she has people around her that loves her enough to hold her accountable, like Chelsea, the wonderful voice of reason in this regard, so that she can actually reconsider things in a way of, is this the woman I want to be, even if this is the woman I am now, or the woman I have become because of this situation that has sent me into this stress spiral. And I honestly believe this moment of Chelsea being the voice of reason is probably going to be a turning point for Kat, and she's going to decide to move forward and ignore Eva. I don't think that she's going to get to the place of trying to like her anytime soon or accept her, but I do think that she's going to shift back into a place of ignoring her. And I really respect Kat as a character, and I respect people like this, period. I respect honest people, like I said, but I respect people who reflect. Kat goes initially trying to talk to Anita after the whole blow up, and she storms out of the conversation with Martin and Eva. But when she gets there, Anita's not there. She talks to Chelsea, and she's asking Chelsea, am I a bitch? That is a reflection, y'all. That is I'm trying to consider the situation that I'm in and the responses that I had, and hold myself accountable to those things. Again, we don't actually see Eva do this. We just see her continue to make excuses, scapegoat herself out of responsibilities of the things that she has created, the conflict that she has induced. Meanwhile, Kat catches all the damn criticism. She is constantly gaslit. Kat is still trying to find it in her soul to think about how she behaved and if she wants to move differently, if she likes the person that she's becoming, and trying to adjust to it. And Eva just gets to go back to being little ass Leslie. Interesting. I'm gonna get off my soapbox about it because I spent the whole video thus far talking about it. Leslie and Shanice and Leslie. Child, at the top of the episode, we get to see I ain't never scared Shanice, and I love this for her. She is not scared of Leslie and makes no qualms about communicating that to her. She does not care about how much Leslie yells, throws tantrums, and threatens her about staying away from Ted. Cause child, what you gonna do? Punch in the face? You ain't about that life. You crazy, but you ain't that crazy. And I'm here for all of it. I'm here for Shanice standing her ground and not letting Leslie intimidate her, which is exactly what we have needed in reference to somebody to be able to check this woman. I think that we are getting the beginnings of like what's going to be this rivalry, what's going to be this animosity. I don't love that Shanice is about to have to go head up with this woman. But again, we have needed someone to temper the whole Leslie villain of it all, because she has been running amok completely unchecked. And if it's only going to be Shanice, then fine. And if it's going to get Shanice more screen time, then fine, because we love Shanice down. Now over in Hollywood, y'all, let me talk about my babies. Andre and Dani are still in their honeymoon bliss, but they are finding a little bit of conflict as they discuss the holidays and how they're going to spend them. Dani is struggling to agree to be cordial with Andre's Uncle Ted. It's when Andre frames it like that, Uncle Ted, and I'm like, damn, I stopped hating Ted for a second, because it's like, damn, he is one of the only people that you got left, and I get it, Andre, I get it, but bruh. Anyway, She is struggling to agree to be cordial because she's still holding a grudge from him cheating on Nicole and fathering Eva. And it's when Andre reiterates how important Ted is to him, especially since his parents passed, that this becomes the one thing that is the turning tide, I think, for Dani. Her deep love for Andre, which they have been communicating nonstop since they put the new rings on each other's fingers. That may be the thing that helps her tolerate Ted, even if she will never like or respect him again. And this is yet another pillar in the stunning hall that is the house of their marriage, y'all. Fairmont Crest's best, favorite, most amazing couple won't let up. These two have gone from situationship and rebounds to all about one another in the most beautiful way, and it is so refreshing to watch. I just love it here. And last but certainly not least, y'all, Bill, Haley, and Naomi. Child. Naomi comes to the office to apologize and almost walks in on Haley queuing up another dose of the tasteless, odorless poison that she has been drip feeding Bill in her grand plan to get the $10 million life insurance policy that she's just so anxious to get. And Naomi does not catch it. She catches the 10 million part, and Haley is able to shuck and jive around that part brought up in the conversation later, but she doesn't put two and two together, or is not here to hear the whole thing. Naomi winds up apologizing for assuming the worst when she saw the pharmacy text on Haley's phone about the birth control, and this is yet another one of Haley's lies that get to live on. What's intriguing to me about these two is how they have navigated separately towards the end of the episode. So Bill is calling Dani, right, on her honeymoon, while reminiscing over the birthday gift that she gave him, claiming he wanted to discuss Winterfest, when it's clear he just wants to talk to her and probably misses her. While Haley is outside of his office putting more poison into a new cup of coffee because she had to smack the cup of tea out of Naomi's hand when she almost drank it earlier, because she's not trying to poison Naomi, she's trying to poison Bill. It's a couple that couldn't be farther from on the same page. And honestly, it's hilarious watching Bill pine after Dani and like longingly look at this key. I cackled. And looking at Haley like conspiring at every turn to drop a couple drops into his damn tea and shove this tea down his throat. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of cackling. At what point is he going to start to figure it out or start to cough up a lung? I don't know. I need a little bit of traction on this poison. But it's just wild watching Bill and Haley, honestly. This woman is literally poisoning him to death, and he's over here calling his ex-wife because he misses her. The irony, y'all, is not lost on me, and I hope it's not lost on y'all. Haley is just getting sloppier and sloppier with this poison plan. And while it was a close call, Naomi didn't catch on to it here, but I'm hoping that Naomi is keeping track of all of the little inconsistencies, all of the little lies that she's been catching Haley in, and watching Haley try to clean up. Because at some point, somebody got to catch her. And that's it, y'all. Those are my thoughts on episode number 176. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. It's your good sis you love to talk TV with, and I'll see you in the next one.